Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to call the McLeod County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. This day, June 16th, 2026. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with the consideration of agenda items.
Mr. Chair, I have an addition.
Okay, would you please read the addition?
Request the addition of item 12D under administration to consider approving the 2026 and 2027 law enforcement labor services, local number 329, non-licensed sergeants collective bargaining agreement. That would leave one not approved bargaining agreement for the county. 8 of 9, correct?
Do we have a copy of what you have, or are you gonna read it at that time?
I will read it at that time.
Okay. Any other corrections or additions?
Move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright and seconded by Commissioner Dahl to approve the agenda items. Is there any discussion? Corrections? I stand corrected. It was Commissioner Smalls.
I guess, yeah.
Any addition, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda.
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Wishes of the consent agenda.
I'll move consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Our first item today is our McLeod County American Dairy Association royalty is here, and I'm going to be in. Paul is well versed in that. I'm going to let him take it from here. Commissioner Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the month of June has always been known as June Promotion Dairy Month. And we're not only focusing on the dairy cows, we're taking it all the way from the processor to the grocery store. And one of the great prides of our industry is not only the dairy products that are produced, but our Princess program that promotes that all year long. So tonight we have 3 of our McLeod County representatives from the Princess program. I'll have them come to the microphone and introduce themselves and some of the talking points that they are so very well trained and used to saying in front of groups and promoting our industry. So go ahead, ladies.
All right. Hello, my name is Callie Christian. I'm from Lester Prairie, Minnesota. I work on a dairy farm over in Glencoe called Sunkist Acres. My parents are Keith and Angela Christian, and I was actually lucky enough to be named one of the finalists for Princess K of Milky Way.
And my name is Kayla Visser. I'm the daughter of Barry and Shannon Visser. I've been in the royalty program for the last 6 years, and although I didn't grow up on a dairy farm, I've had the opportunity to work on a dairy farm south of Litchfield at Stadview for the past 12 years.
My name is Hannah Visser, the daughter of Barry and Shannon Visser, and like Kayla said, we did not grow up in a dairy farm, but we have the opportunity to work at a dairy farm, and being able to experience working on a dairy and experience working with cattle and working with dairy farmers. And we're excited to share some facts with you today and to celebrate June Dairy Month with you.
Yeah, so McLeod is actually home to 25 dairy farms. Looking on a larger scale statewide, we are home to 1,743 dairy farms, and 134 of those dairy farms are goat or sheep. Minnesota Dairy brings in $9 billion annually for the economy, as well as 7th in the nation for milk production.
And with that being said, young women like us get the opportunity to promote on behalf of those dairy farmers who are continuously working day in and day out. So our program has about 12 girls this year, and we have the opportunity to travel around the county at events such as day camps, assistant living facilities, speaking with community members like you, and promoting on behalf of our dairy farmers that we care so much about.
Yeah, we are excited to travel around McLeod County during June Dairy Month and the rest of the summer. And we would just like to remind you all and everyone here to consume your 3 servings of dairy products every day and help us celebrate June Dairy Month, and never forget to thank a dairy farmer. So thank you for having us here today, and we hope you enjoy June Dairy Month.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for coming, and it's been a, Dairy Princes have been, as long as I can remember, I'm the oldest one on the board, I believe, and I remember them since I was a little kid, so, and it's surprising, the things you do remember that they've done, so I really appreciate you coming. And I hope we get a picture, even though we're on a schedule here, but
Before we
anything-
go,
question-
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Question. Callie, you mentioned, goats and sheep. Are they under the dairy umbrella now as we celebrate, the dairy farmers that we have in Minnesota?
Yeah, so that is included into our dairy farms. So with the 1,743, of that, 143 is sheep or goat operations.
Very good. Thank you, Callie. And Callie, I was very excited when I heard that you were a Princess K finalist, and someone from my community is really exciting, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, if I
Go ahead,
could,
Lori.
I just also want to recognize Hannah Visser. She won the milking contest. Unfortunately, it wasn't me, but it was Hannah that won the milking contest last week. So she did a pretty darn good job.
Thank you.
The pictures looked good.
Anything else from the board? You got your butter used up yet?
We don't get that.
Oh, I thought you.
Oh, Vissers.
We do not have our butter used up from our older sister yet, but she has plans for that.
Commissioner Wright tells, I just had to tease you a little bit.
Yep.
There's an event on June 27th where you could maybe use it.
Yeah.
Let's get a
Oh, it's
picture.
real butter.
course, yes.
It's real butter. All right, picture.
Can you get us in?
Ladies, do you want to follow me right over here? We'll get you a picture. And if you walk in.
Good. Well,
I think we can get started here. All right, next on our agenda is the public hearing on ditch 12A for release of some property, I believe. I guess I'm going to read from my script just to make sure I don't miss anything here. I'd like to welcome, well, first of all, is there a motion to open the public hearing on ditch 12A?
So move.
Motion made by
Dahl.
Commissioner Dahl, and is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'd like to welcome everyone who has come today. The purpose of this hearing is to receive comments and testimony from all parties interested in the petition of Greg Brinkman and Lorna Brinkman to remove benefited property from County Ditch 12A drainage system. The order of the business for this hearing will be as follows. First, Ryan Freitag, the County Soil and Water District Manager, will explain the progress which was brought to us in the public hearing and the purpose of this hearing. Following, Janet Basinger will, the County Chief Deputy Auditor Treasurer will review the notices given to the hearing requirements, and then Ryan will present a brief review of the petition and the conditions upon which the petition is being considered. During the staff presentation, the petitioners may be invited to address issues relevant to their petition. Finally, we would like to hear the public comments on the petition. Today's proceedings are being conducted under Minnesota Statute Section 103E.805. That statute directs us to consider granting the petition if, number one, waters from the petitioner's property have been directed from the drainage system, or the property cannot significantly or regularly use the drainage system. Two, the property is not benefited by the drainage system. And three, removing the property from the drainage system will not prejudice the property owners and property remaining in the system. If you would like to make a comment when the public comment period is open, please come up to the podium. When I recognize you, please state your name and address for the record. If you have a specific question considering the petition, we may ask you, our staff, to respond. If you have anything in writing you wish to be submitted, you can provide it to me during the public comments. Would any of the board members wish to offer any future remarks before we begin? All right, purpose of the hearing, county attorney will take that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you've already alluded to, the purpose of this hearing on the petition to remove acres from the public drainage system 12A is to allow for yourselves, the local drainage authority, to evaluate if the land meets the criteria for removal. The effect of granting the petition would be that said acres would be removed, and the landowner or owners would be relieved from future maintenance and repair assessments on that land. So this hearing is scheduled so that I can give any affected parties, and they've received notice that'll be spoken to here in a bit, the opportunity to voice their input, whether that's objections or concerns, while also requiring the petitioner, the Brinkmans, to prove those three main points that they have a burden to prove. And that's that essentially the water's been diverted, that they're actually receiving no benefit from the system, and that there would not be prejudice to the other remaining owners if it's removed. So the purpose of this hearing is to allow for that evidence to be presented and then ultimately be put to consideration by the board for, to see if it should be granted or denied, or if anything else is necessary. Thank you.
Ryan, I guess it's to you and Janet.
I can do the no. Do you have anything to add? Okay, so the primary source of mailing was the mailing to all landowners on June 3rd and was also noticed on the McLeod County website, along with the posting on the front door of the McLeod County Government Center. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the board? Ryan?
Yep. Just kind of a rundown of where we're at today. On December 23rd of 2025, we received the petition from the Brinkmans. On February 3rd of 2026, the findings and order were approved, accepting the petition and directing staff to gather additional information. On May of 26, we received the viewers report with these three parcels updated by H2O overviewers as directed in the order. And we are here today with the final hearing on this petition. And last week I did have verification from Buffalo Creek Watershed District that a permit was obtained and according to their requirements, and the landowner has installed the tile.
Any board members have any questions? I guess I can comment briefly on this. I also delegated to sit on Buffalo Creek, or at least at their board meetings, and I was involved, I guess, from square one, and to my knowledge and to what I know and have seen, the viewing was done properly, the permits were run properly, and the inspection was completed and satisfactorily noted that the water is leaving through the new project into the Buffalo Creek watershed. Any other questions before we go forward?
Mr. Chair, I've just.
Go ahead.
Ryan, maybe you could speak to this, when there's a number of different parcels, whether there's one per parcel or another, when the viewers review these properties to see if water has been diverted and if there's no longer benefit, can you speak to, does the parcel have to be looked at in total, or can that be, can it be partial where one part of the parcel's benefited, one not? What can you tell me about that?
Correct. There were 3 parcels with this petition. 2 of the parcels, 100% of the quarters were removed from the CD12 system. And on the 3rd parcel, a portion of it was removed. So there's a portion that naturally flows into the County Ditch 12A system, and that is still benefited to 12A.
And is that all reflected in the report that the viewers
Correct.
created?
It was updated in the viewer's report, so.
And I'm glad that was stated, because there was a part of it, and the key word was naturally runs towards 12A watershed. So with that, is there any questions from the audience or from landowners?
Just to note that any conversation or questions would need to be on microphone for them to appear on camera.
Go ahead.
And I believe you state your name and your location.
Yeah, I'm Greg Brinkman here. I'm the landowner. Just wondering if there, I think I submitted a map.
Correct.
And did we use that map, or did we make our own survey, or?
No, what the viewers did is took your map and then went off of the natural contours.
Okay.
To find out what was actually flowing, I guess, to the north remaining. And that's how they broke it apart. So each quarter will have acres benefited and not.
Okay, because I don't think I've seen that map.
Mr. Brinkman is a petitioner, so I mean,
Correct.
and I did see it, and I don't see when the viewers, or at least I glanced at the viewers' report, and I was satisfied, but I wish we had a map here today, but.
Yeah, and we can ask H2 overviewers to update their County Ditch 12A map to reflect that.
Just to make, I mean, this is the day of the hearing, obviously. Is there any questions from the landowners or any dispute that what we're doing today would be in doubt? Jen,
Could I
do
add
you have
something? Yes, thank you, Commissioner. The updated benefits were listed in the findings in order to what was there previously and then what the viewers determined after reviewing the property. Yeah, I know there was no map, but it was all in the findings in order, all the numbers and information in the board packet.
Oh, okay.
I would guess that the biggest, the only thing that could be challenged, or, that would be easier to explain is the portion that naturally runs back into 12. And I don't see, do you have a dispute with the acreage that we are presenting?
I don't know if I do, because I haven't seen,
Okay.
I haven't seen their map. I've seen the map that I submitted, but I haven't seen what they
That is
eventually
it.
came up with.
I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable too with finalizing that without making sure everyone is happy with what we're doing. Is there?
With the acres.
If, I did see Greg's earlier, or Mr. Brinkman's earlier map, and if that matches, but I'm okay with that, but I don't want to have to go over this again. Go ahead.
In the absence of an actual map, the findings in order does list the PID numbers
It
that are
does.
affected, so there is a legal description involved in the findings that way.
Correct.
And I apologize, but that's what I was going by, the numbers for them them parcels are all listed.
Correct. So parcels 04, 034, 0200, and that was the 80-acre parcel. And then parcel 04, 027, 0600, 81 acres in the south half of the southwest quarter. Those were completely removed. And then for the other parcel, which is the parcel to the north of the other two, parcel 04, 027, 0800, there was a total of approximately 79 acres, and 36.28 the viewers determined would be removed, which would leave that as a total net benefit of 39.46 benefited acres, and reducing the total net benefits on that parcel from 99,816 and 41 down to $50,769.27.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, do you have a copy of this? Or if not,
Now he does.
He does now. He does now.
it's map in words is what it is, but just to be clear, is there any other challenges or clarifications? I'm comfortable that it's all good, but I want to make sure that the landowners are. Looks like we're good, so, okay. Is there any other public comment? Any other materials that need to be presented? Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chair, it does look like things, forgot again, Mr. Chair, it does look like things are in order for what would be referred to as our draft motion 3, which is to adopt the findings in order, unless there's something that we're missing yet, but it does look like everything is fairly straightforward.
Right. With the petition that, the initial part of the petition that Janet just read, the map in words, that's what we're going by to move forward here. I guess the question number one for me to present to the board is, does the evidence support a finding that the waters from from property have been entirely or partially diverted from CD 12A drainage system, or that the property cannot satisfactorily or regularly use ditch 12A drainage system as an outlet or beneficial drainage? Number two, does the evidence support a finding that the petitioner's property is not benefited by CD 12A? Number three, does the evidence support finding that removal of the petitioner's property from the benefited rolls from 12A will not prejudge the owners or property remaining in the system?
And Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I think those are the three questions that the board ultimately needs to consider, and would need to find in the affirmative a yes to each one of those if this petition were to be granted. If any one of those is not present, then the petition ought to be denied. So before we close the public comment period, because I don't hear anymore and we haven't closed that yet, and before we move into deliberations, I would just ask Ryan if you could speak to we've heard about number one as far as the waters being diverted, the tile line that now goes to the Buffalo Creek watershed or Buffalo Creek. So that's already been spoke to. And that really ties into number two as far as what's left, if any, benefits regarding, the land, what does it receive from 12A? And I hear there's, whether it's the surface configure or contours, some surface water that maybe runs that direction. But one thing we haven't heard much of is that number three. Is there anything else that maybe we haven't caught or considered from how this water flows or beyond that might prejudice other landowners? Now, I haven't heard anything in public comment from affected or neighboring landowners. Was there anything else that we're missing, or can you at least speak to, is that something that was considered?
Sure. This system, where these properties are located, utilizes a private ditch to get to County Ditch 12A, and uses a relatively small section. When I talk small section, probably 1,000 feet of County Ditch 12A before it ultimately outlets. So it didn't use a large portion of County Ditch 12A. So
So, I mean, with that said, I mean, are you identifying any prejudice that granting this petition would cause to the remaining land?
I don't foresee any.
Okay.
And I don't want to single, we have someone here from Buffalo Creek Watershed that's also an interested landowner, so, but having said that, I mean, I was active in it. I think we crossed all our i's and dotted all our t's. And there was actually people that when I went by it, I mean, to the best of my ability, I feel real comfortable, and the adjacent landowners haven't said anything that would be out of order. The only, and I think we covered the land that naturally goes into that private ditch and then into that's, if you're okay with those acres, I think we'll proceed to our choices.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
One
Mr.
question,
Small.
Ryan, while you're up there. So you said the first two parcels are removed completely. I think the third parcel, partial.
Correct.
And those first two parcels, are we talking, I mean, I get it with the tiling and diverting it to a different system. Is the surface water as well diverted to a different system on those first two parcel numbers?
There's a natural watershed break between those two parcels and the third parcel, and that's where they drew the line, is basically on that natural break. In our Prairie Pothole region, there's some where it naturally probably originally flowed kind of to the southwest, and it was easier. They owned the land all the way up to the ditch, the private ditch that went into 12A, that at the time was probably easier to get to 12A than it may have been through other parcels. Now they secured an easement through a neighboring parcel, and we're able to take it right to Buffalo Creek.
Very good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions for Ryan or anyone for that matter? And then I would move to close, or ask for a motion to close the public input.
Move to close hearing, Mr. Chair.
Not close the hearing, close the.
Move to close the
comment.
public input, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Okay, motion made and seconded to close public input. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, we have three choices here, and I'm gonna focus on number 3 after all our discussion that we've just went through. It is, let me see.
And
I guess
Mr.
I'll open that up. The rest of the commissioners have one. If there's, it would be for, I'd entertain a motion to approve the petition and approve of the draft findings and order of granting the petition.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
seeing as things do look like they're in order and we've not had any negative comments at all from other landowners, I will make a motion that we approve the petition and approve the draft findings and order granting the petition.
Is there a second to that motion?
Mr. Chair, I second the motion.
Motion seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So the finding is approved. Now we can close the public hearing.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smallson, seconded by Commissioner Cheska to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing is closed. Thank you. All right, moving on our agenda to Public Works. Andrew, I should have been able to do that from seeing you at the podium.
Good
Go ahead.
afternoon. Item A, consider approving an estimate from Rice Companies, Inc. of Glencoe, Minnesota to replace the roof on the horticulture building at the McLeod County Fairgrounds at a cost not to exceed $88,274.31 with funds from the Fairgrounds capital budget. Our capital improvement plan at the fairground is to continue replacing roofs at the fairgrounds while prioritizing the buildings in most need of repair. A second estimate was received from Lester Buildings LLC of Lester Prairie, Minnesota at a cost of $88,468.
Wishes of the board.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Chutska. Is there any more discussion or any discussion?
Just wanted to add, Mr. Chair, as noted within the language of the item, we are rotating through the roofs that are definitely need a repair. They're 30 years old now. They've gone through their Band-Aid phases, and now it's time to start the significant investment, and we are putting money aside, realizing that that has to happen. So this just follows the plan of taking the next one in line.
Commissioner Dahl?
Yeah, I agree with Paul. That was on my notes when I did the review of the fairgrounds, that I noticed there was a lot of patching on that roof. My only other concern is the replacement of the purlins, and I question whether that's enough after all the patching that I see. So I think we should be a little more prepared on that one.
All right, yeah, I know it's been discussed in workshops and budgets for a while too. We've got a great fairgrounds and we need to keep it that way, huh?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner
On
Smalls.
being, Commissioner Dahl brought up the purlins, and I think we quoted, what, 48, or we're looking for 48 purlins. Is that a unit price that we can hold them to, or are we, how should we change order if we go above the 48 purlins?
If we go above the 48 purlins, it will be a negotiated change order price.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I feel too that that number is as good as an estimate as we could possibly make, so, and I think it's comfortable, but. Calling a question, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. B,
Item B, consider approving the cooperative agreement with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources that outlines the roles and responsibilities for construction and maintenance of a proposed segment of the Loose Line Trail in Winsted. The DNR and the City of Winsted have prioritized making a connection of the Loose Line Trail, State Trail across and along County State Aid Highway 1 to Baker Avenue, which is County State Aid Highway 9 in Winsted. Under the cooperative agreement, the county will permit the segment of trail to be constructed within the right-of-way and approve of the plans. The DNR will develop the plans, bid and administer the construction contracts, and obtain all necessary permits and pay for the construction and maintenance of the trail segment. The City of Winsted is actually leading this project and has received active transportation infrastructure grant through MnDOT to continue the trail up to McLeod Avenue through Hanlon Park. The county sponsored the project as fiscal agent and will act as a flow-through entity for the city to receive the AT funds. A grant agreement may or may not be coming from MnDOT, may or may not be coming to the county board at a later date for those AT funds. We're working out that process right now. Right now, it's looking like it's going to go straight through the city, the grant agreement. The funds will just flow through the county. So, yep.
not to put you on the spot, Andrew, but what does that mean? I mean, what actually does that mean?
That
And just
means-
to clear it up.
Yep, that means the state gives us the grant funds, and then we give the grant funds to the city.
Okay.
We're a flow-through
Because they're
entity.
leading,
Yep.
they're leading the
Yep.
project.
The county is not responsible for any costs associated with the construction or maintenance of the trail segment. And the city did receive about $300,000 in active transportation funds and about $200,000 in funds from the DNR for this project.
It's been a long, for me, probably not for Commissioner Wright, but I heard about this, where it ended and how it ended in Winsted. It's been a conversation point for a number of years. So, I mean, obviously, our outcome from the county's point of view, other than having to transfer some, wholesome funds, it's not costing us anything, and it's a real benefit to Winsted, and it's probably gonna relieve some calls too, that where the trail ended and how it got through town. It's a real advantage to Winsted, and they are McLeod County, so.
Yep, it's a big advantage to the county. It's a big advantage to the trail users. It creates an off-road trail segment along there. It is kind of a temporary plan. The long-term plan is still to kind of cut through the field, but who knows the timeline of that. That's probably 20-plus years out at this point yet, but this is a good intermediate step to improve the safety of trail users within the community.
Any more questions or wishes of the board?
I'll move request, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Discussion. Go ahead, Commissioner Smalls.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, and like Andrew alluded to, and you as well, Mr. Chair, that, there's quite a history on how we got to this point. The short facts are, that the corridor was, I won't say abandoned, but there was structures that were built over the rail corridor at one time, long before my engagement. And this is just a way to kind of connect to the east end to the west end through those portions of the city of Winsted. So it's a good plan. I'm glad we can partner with the city of Winsted to make this happen.
Any other more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, consider final acceptance and payment of $5,363.47 to Hanson Gravel Inc. of Hutchinson, Minnesota for project PK 52200-26008, the All Parks Aggregate Surfacing Project. The project is completed satisfactorily, and final acceptance and payment is recommended by staff.
Wishes of the board. Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Chaska. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item D, consider approving change order number 2 for state project 043618008, the County State Aid Highway 18 concrete overlay project at a cost of $5,209.10 with funds from the highway construction budget. During the construction staking phase, it was found that the median nose on the east side of the intersection at CASA 7 would hold water. A 14-foot by 5-foot section of median concrete and 72 linear feet of curb needed to be removed and replaced at a higher elevation to ensure proper drainage at the intersection.
Any more information on that than that you think we should know, or?
Yeah, it was that intersection was constructed in pieces over time, and when CASA 7 was built, the profile of the road was pretty high through there. There ended up being a little bit of a dip in there, and when we came through with milling and everything, that dip would have either been made worse and held water, or made worse to smooth or to not hold water in that median nose, or we could have smoothed it out and lifted that median nose to not hold water. So we chose to smooth out that profile bump.
Are these, are they cordon pieces that we can just take out, or?
Yep,
do they-
yep,
yeah,
yep.
They've been doing that with concrete, and it's made it a lot simpler to do that type of work.
Yep.
Any wishes of the board or questions from the board?
Well, it's one of those things that needs to be done while we're there, so move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Smalls.
I mean, it's a good example on why change orders exist, and it would be unusual, I mean, maybe Andrew would disagree with me, but it would be unusual if we can do a project without a change order coming forward. It's just, sometimes the best laid plans just don't match up, and this is one instance of that, so I'm glad that we're looking at it and making it right before it gets any farther than it did.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item E, consider approving change order number 3 for state project 043618008, the County State Aid Highway 18 concrete overlay project at a cost of $6,046.33 with funds from the highway construction budget. In order to smooth the transition from the new concrete to the existing road on the west end of the project, additional milling and bituminous on the Zane Avenue aprons is needed. So how we designed the project, the concrete profile came up 3 inches, and that intersection is right at the end of the project. We dove the mill down and the profile down to match in, and and that pushed a bump farther back. So in order to do that, we had to lower the profile farther back, and that required removing basically all the bituminous pavement off of the Zane Avenue approach legs. So this change order is to mill that down and to pave those back in at 6-inch depth instead of a 3-inch overlay.
Any other questions from the board? Board's wishes?
I'll move request, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item F, consider awarding County Project CP 026000005, the county-wide culvert replacement project to TR Earthworks LLC of Hutchinson, Minnesota, at a cost of $123,348.71 with funds from the highway construction budget. This project will replace rusted-out corrugated metal pipe culverts at County State Aid Highway 22, just west of CASA 15, and a failed CMP on County Road 62, just south of County Road 25. The engineer's estimate for the project was $190,845. We received actually 12 total bids ranging from that $123,348.71 to $240,599.63.
Wishes of the board or questions for Andrew?
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Dahl to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Chaska. Any more discussion or any discussion? Commissioner Smalls.
Mr. Chair, yeah, Andrew, it's an amazing amount of bidders, that were accumulated for this process. It just shows that, why we do bids, why we put it out there, and hopefully it saves us money in the end. So thanks. And also, a local contractor bidding on a local project is a very good thing.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Will Feltman from the jail. Good afternoon, Captain.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. So I'm here today for my first item is approval of the annual contract with Advanced Correctional Health Care to provide the McLeod County Jail with inmate medical services for the period of July 1, 26 through July 30, 27 at a cost of $148,666.25 with funds from our budget. ACH does provide the jail with all its medical resources. They provide nursing on site 12 hours a week, providers on site an hour every other week, plus 24/7, 365 access to that same provider via phone. They also provide mental health coverage. The professional actually comes into the jail and will meet the inmate, so it's a good contract. We've had it for quite a while.
Wishes of the board.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Dahl to approve. Is there a second? I will second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, item B, consider approving the proposal from Martin Systems of Madison, Wisconsin for new jail intercom controls and workstations at the McLeod County Jail at a cost of $394,275.93 with funds from the County Buildings Major Repair Fund 01115. Concerns regarding the current control systems were discussed during the February 17, 2026 board workshop meeting. And on April 7th, 2026, the board approved an advertising for sealed bids for the project. On May 6th, we received 5 bids, and they were opened. On May 12th, the bids were reviewed. Martin Systems was identified as the recommended bidder. On May 29th, myself and Will traveled to 2 other county jails where Martin controls have been installed, and got to speak with their staff, and very positive feedback was given about them and the workstations. Let's see here. Go to the next page. Martin Systems meets the requirements in the bid request and has the overall best value.
Okay, we did actually, before our road tour, we did get a chance to go up to the jail, so we are familiar with some of that, but any questions or wishes of the board? Just for the general public, I mean, I was pretty much, I mean, it's quite an operation going on up there, and I'm not gonna claim to admit I know, I mean, we got another item coming up here, and I'm not gonna admit that I know all the moving parts of that, but it's quite something, and I have no qualms on that, and, I guess I'll make the motion to approve. Kruger made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dahl. Any discussion?
No, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
No, Joe, I know we spoke about this project, and when I look through the packet, I mean, it's not just about the products used in the workstations, which it sounds like you viewed, and the feedback's positive. But as I read it, when you look at the bid with the options in total, not only is it probably a value or recommended, but it looks like the lowest responsive bid to me. And so I think that's, noteworthy. So unless I'm, missing something there, I know the bid process was taking place. He had several bidders, but I just feel like that's noteworthy because when looked at in total, that's the way it reads to me.
Correct, yeah. So the furniture, the other bidders didn't really meet the criteria that we have, and so essentially their furniture is not, we're not able to use that. Martin's was the lowest price on the controls and the best meeting the criteria for our furniture.
I think, Mr. Chair, an important thing to focus on too is when we talk about a workstation at a 24/7 operation and how that incorporates with an intercom system. Captain Feltman and his staff, Sergeant Cox was there, and some other people that helped the commissioners understand how that process and that flow works. It's a really busy workstation. It was hard for us to even be in that room at that time while they're going in and out. Safety is of the utmost importance. These upgrades are needed in order to keep a safe environment. Captain Feltman and his staff and the sheriff, they're all subject to pretty intense audits every year of the safety requirements, and that is part of meeting them, is to upgrade some of these items. They'll be needed in order to provide that service and to keep functioning. So when we say workstations, it's not like thinking about my desk just being anywhere and being a standing desk maybe for my ergonomics. This is where you could have up to 5 people trying to move around each other in an emergency situation and monitoring an entire jail. So, and they also monitor the lobby and the security area to help out too. And they're there with dispatch 24 hours a day. So I just want to make sure the public understands that intercom and the electronics part is a big piece. Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't, I don't know if the right word's enlightening, but it was quite, and I don't want to get the two subjects mixed up, but with the screens and how the response to the cameras go to that portion of the screen, and with especially with the mandates and the liabilities that we have today. And, I mean, we're lucky we have the manpower, and I guess the age of these things, Will, you can jump in if you want, but I mean, the technology changes, and,
Yeah, we didn't even know what It was eye-opening when we went on the tour just to see this product, because you don't know what you don't have unless you see it, and it really showed us how outdated and borderline unreliable our current equipment is and how much needed this is, so it's very much needed. And yes, lots of rules and regulations govern us, and we have to follow those, so they're all requiring a lot of this stuff as well.
Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Smalls?
And I think I look at it a little deeper than, just the expense and the upgrade, but, I mean, we're making a commitment to our employees, putting them in the technology that's available today, and I think hopefully they value that we're making the investment to make their lives run better when they're at their job sites. So thank you.
I'll call Commissioner.
Just a comment on that. This is your second tier of security, and we can't afford to have this fail. And right now, in my eyes, you're running a Model T, and I'm like, we got to get up a little bit better here. Let's get up to the Chevrolet. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Any more discussion? Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, item C, consider approving a proposal from Martin Systems of Madison, Wisconsin for integration of cameras at the McLeod County Jail at a cost not to exceed $17,200 with funds from the County Buildings Major Repair Fund 01115. As noted, we had gone and we toured and we got to see this integration and just how beneficial it will be for staff, particularly if you're training in new staff to be able to on the screen, if an inmate pushes the intercom, it lights up, they touch it, the monitor above it, it goes right to that camera. So they got 20, 30 cameras to look through, right? It just pops up, right? So we had, when we went for public bid, we had requested, kind of as an option, that the integration be put into the bid, and no one had bid on it. And when I reached out to Martin, because I was like, hey, we toured some facilities, they have this, and so he got back with his controls people, and they put together the package that we're presenting today. For that.
All right, I appreciate it. And it'd be way over my head if we wouldn't have seen it. And that's why I hate to pick out these three, because they're kind of combined, yet they're standalone. But any wishes of the board? Or any more questions? Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, item D, consider approving a 10% contingency of $41,147.59 for the McLeod County Jail Controls project with funds from County Building Major Repair Fund 01115. As you have projects, there can be unknowns that you come across, and we just want to ensure that we have some funding to be able to react. When they come in to take everything out, if we need to bring in an electrician, if we need to do things to keep it moving forward, we just want to have some funding available to not have to stop and wait, right? Because it's such a critical item.
I mean, I don't know exactly how to put it in words, but we were up there and we discussed some of this as we went through the tour of the unknowns. I'm not a big contingency guy, but there is some things here that we did have a lot of unknowns too, and I don't want to put any words in anyone's mouth, but I seen the value to the contingency here without having to come back to the board with these projects moving forward. Wishes of the board?
I would move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Dahl to approve. Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion?
I
Commissioner
do,
Dahl?
I have one comment or one question about this, Joe. So you've got this contingency that we just approved for 41, and we understand the importance of that security. And we can't be slowing things down. Every 2 weeks, we'll have a meeting to maybe do this or maybe not, or blah, blah, blah. But I am going to ask that you go through Sheila and get any funds that you spend out of that contingency to be approved by her.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
those are, so, Commissioner Dahl,
Yep.
any contingency funds that are spent would be communicated and relayed to the board, and they do always go to both of us. But also, yeah, just because of the safety aspect with this project, but just like with the contingency funds for the environmental service project, that was on the last agenda, even though it was already approved.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm just making note of it at a public meeting.
Right. No, and that is our rule to do that. I don't like, as the chair, I don't like having to do that sometimes because you do end up with scrutiny and sometimes the decisions have to be made the best you can at the time, but
Mr.
I
Chair,
appreciate the comment. Go ahead.
sorry, just a note, because some of the public don't know, but any bill or invoice over $3,000, I have to review and approve. But I see any that are, any amounts in administration and facilities, but if anything's over $3,000, it can't go through payment without me.
And that's a value to this discussion. I think the biggest reason I let it go is because I think it's a value to the public, so. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Employee Relations, Hannah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just have one item this evening. Consider approving the grade assignment recommended by the Evaluation Committee and reviewed by the Personnel Committee for the Auditor Treasurer grade 230. As obviously the board knows, this job description was recently graded as it was previously an elected position. McLeod County's job leveling system uses the same factors to evaluate every job that we have at the county, resulting in an assigned grade.
All right, my comments on it, I asked a number of questions of Hannah and Administrator, and I'm not by any means an expert on the grading process. However, we went through what the grading meant, and being we've never had this graded before, this is our first time on our appointed position versus an elected position. So with the range that's in there in dollars and cents, I'm comfortable. My opinion that I'm comfortable with those numbers, but I'll ask for the wishes of the board.
Mr. Chair, one of the core reasons that we switched this to a appointed position was because of the complexities and all the moving parts of this position. So it's no surprise that we are at a 230 for that grade. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright and seconded by Commissioner Cheska to approve the grade 230 for the county auditor treasurer. Is there any discussion? Well, I guess, is there a second to the motion? Excuse me. Oh, yeah, I did get it. Okay. Sorry, didn't know. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
County Attorney's Office, Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have one item for consideration today. It's consider approving payment of a $55,000 invoice to Carpel Solutions with public safety aid funds coming from account 25202. As you know, the County Attorney's Office recently switched case management systems. The approved budget that was requested was $49,623 to be paid from public safety aid funds. The vendor's invoice following the conversion and including partial annual hosting and interface maintenance fees for year 2026 resulted in charges in the amount of $55,000 as shown in the attached invoice that was included in the packet. So I'm requesting that the board approve payment of the invoice, including what is an additional $5,377 from public safety aid funds. And the difference there between the 49 amount and the 55 amount that was originally requested and approved is the partial annual hosting and interface maintenance fees for year 2026. So we knew there would be service fees for the year. They weren't included in the one-time conversion package kind of estimate that was provided earlier in the 49,000, that resulted in the $49,000 approval amount. So these charges, it's not that they weren't anticipated, it's just we didn't have it listed as being part of the one-time cost during the conversion. So I'm asking for that additional $5,300 in funds.
Wishes of the board.
Motion to approve with the additions.
Motion made by Commissioner Dahl to approve with the additions. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Discussion. Questions for Ryan? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, you're up. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Here to asking to consider approving a quote from ESRI of Redlands, California to renew ESRI ArcGIS software maintenance for 1 year at a cost of $10,296.87 with funds from the information technology budget. McLeod County uses ESRI ArcGIS software for creating, maintaining, and displaying maps. ESRI software maintenance provides access to software updates, support additional online mapping resources and tools, and allows publishing of certain types of maps. So this is a software that's used by GIS.
Okay, I'm quite clear on the meaning of this now. Can you tell us what it really does for us as just laymen punching the buttons? I mean, truly, I mean, what is it? It's an improvement for us from what I'm gathering. Maps are a real asset to us when we're looking for data to move along, and just give me some layman terms.
Right, so the best example I can give you is the online GeoMoose mapping system. The underlying data that makes up that map, this software is used to create that.
Okay. Questions or wishes of the board?
I think we all know the popularity of our GIS software, that's for sure. So to make sure that that is moving very fluently is important. So I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright and seconded by Commissioner Chaska. Discussion? I'm gonna ask one more question here. Does that help in some of that overlaying or, pushing them buttons to, I call it overlaying, but it takes out some information and adds information. Is that clear?
Yeah, so that's what they do with this software. They make each different layer of the mapping that you're viewing, and by making each of them in a different layer, you can remove them or add them and display multiples or whatever combination
That's the
you want.
part I need to easier. And I kind of, I don't mean to take it lightly, and I don't, but that's one of the problems that I have getting through that, so I appreciate that. Any more
Mr. Chair,
discussion? Go ahead.
I just think that that mapping is a wonderful asset. I use it daily for different things, who lives where, what addresses, anything like that. And it's a benefit to everybody in the county. So.
Yeah, I'm very envious of people that do use it all the time and can run right through it. It takes me a little longer than I'd like, so I hope this, I'll give it a whirl, so. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
County administration, so we move into our calendars. Oh, did I miss something?
Missed one, missed 11.
Must be in between the pages here. Oh, I missed environmental environmental services, are you taking that, or am I missing more?
Yeah, I'm going to take this one. Item A, consider awarding a bid to Hanson Paving of Sauk Rapids, Minnesota to pave approximately 18,000 square feet at the Environmental Services Building parking lot on the west side of the building at a cost of $39,000 with funds from Solid Waste Fund 05391. Two other bids were received. One was from Diversified Paving of St. Augusta, Minnesota for $39,625, and Mueller and Sons of Hamburg, Minnesota for $46,200. There was a map included in the packet that outlines the affected area.
Now, did we go high enough to get that manhole? I mean, am I asking the right question here?
So, yeah, so the manhole's not covered in this.
This is a different, sorry, Joe.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, this is a different portion of the parking area. And Mark Zaleski brought it to the workshop, I think 3 meetings ago about.
Okay.
And so this is on the west portion of the facility, correct? West, yeah.
Yep.
This doesn't address the front facing,
Yeah,
the
like,
south parking.
Well, it
lot.
actually does when it comes in that driveway, and that's where I mean, I know we had
But not-
an issue there. It just
Not the
does
work that we're performing right now.
yep,
That's
so
not-
it's just past where that basin is,
Is
kind
there a
of right at
reason
the
we're not going
intersection.
into that basin?
Yeah, so that front piece that you're talking about, Commissioner Kruger, is if we do
This is joining that west portion. is
yeah,
that
so right there at that curb cut just to the north of that low spot, if we do engineering on that, that's something we'll come back to the board with. So when you and I and Commissioner Wright met with the MRF committee, we did not include that portion in there because if we do engineering on that front parking lot, that's going to need some attention in the future as well. We didn't want to repave that, lift that with the potential of having to tear that back up again.
And that's a good reason, and that's what I mean, the west part is in bad shape. I mean, and I think priority for the whole lot shouldn't be forgotten, but
Yeah, so with the sake of not slowing that paving down where it's needed the most right now, with, I think every one of the board members has seen what kind of shape that is in front of the canopy for the HHW, we need to get that done sooner than later without slowing the process down with the engineering side for the front parking area.
it's not only the board, there's a lot of public that knows.
Yes, correct.
as well.
Mr. Chair?
Okay.
And is that kind of the reasoning why we aren't looking at the option to do that very southern end that's alongside of the south parking?
Correct.
One of the contractors bid an option to go all the way out to, is that a county road from there? All the way up to the county road?
Yeah, so I had talked to Diversified when they came out and met and we walked it on site because I just wanted to see what a potential cost would be. Andrew and I have talked about this at length when the highway department was doing some of the assessment on that front lot, doing the cores on that. And we had a water main break out in that front area approximately a year and a half ago, which led to some of the sagging on that storm line is what you see there. So again, if we redo that front parking area, we really need to get an engineer involved in that so they can have some discussion with you as a board to see what we want to do and potentially change the configuration of that front lot, but without slowing this project down on the paving that's needed as soon as possible. That is why we didn't include that.
Yeah, thanks. That really helps me out a lot, as far as why we didn't look at the option and how it could affect it potentially moving forward. Second question is, there was a little bit of a concern about water coming off the roof on that west side of the building. Are we addressing that with some of the work we're proposing to do here?
So Joe and I met on site yesterday to go over some of this. And again, my opinion to that is, and this part will cover underneath that drain spout or that runoff that is occurring there. There is some issues that we're having with some base that's abutting the parking area on the sidewalk abutting the building itself to the east. We need to look at that a little bit further after we mill this, if approved today, mill it, do an overlay, potentially dig some of that base out. My opinion is, without getting into that, and Andrew and I talked about that, when we were on there this spring, it was spongy. It was like jumping on a trampoline, which means to me, I think they paved over that when they did the original building on clay. And we need to excavate that out. Again, look at bids to potentially using concrete apron there all the way under the canopies so we don't have this issue in the future.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Wright.
Similar to our discussion on the roofs at the fairgrounds earlier, you can only do the bubble gum phase in life for so long, and you just have to do the more expensive version. So definitely in support of this, and just for the public to note, because we're utilizing the solid waste funds, there are no levy dollars invested in this, levy dollar neutral. So make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Dahl. Discussion? You answered my question. My main thing was I just want to make sure we weren't tearing up something that we're doing now. That was my main objective here, and I wasn't quite sure on where the line really was, and I appreciate that. So, any other discussion?
It just saves me a trip. Saves me a trip going up there every week and complaining to Mark about it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Hearing no more discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Moving into administration now, I have to check into my calendar. I'm developing quite a pile of papers today. Commissioner Wright, if you want to start, I'll find my calendar here.
Sure.
While
On the 8th, we did have an economic development planning meeting with our administrator and economic development coordinator as we look to perhaps build some new focuses on where to and work with our committee meetings on that. I also had an extension meeting on the evening of the 9th where we had updates from our extension educators, and Commissioner Dahl was able to join me. I'll be interested to see what he thinks about that meeting. Fairgrounds Commission, we met last week, and just updates on where we go next as far as some of the repair projects are concerned. A couple comments on CASA 18, the overlay project, which is right to the south of me. I must say that looks like that's coming along great. Contractors are doing a really nice job. It's just constant busy work down there, and I think it's going to be a great road when it's done. I also just want to offer compliments to the McLeod County Highway Department as they continue to work daily with, I guess, what I'm going to call the chaos that has been caused by the 212 and 15 roundabout project. It's just it's very difficult to monitor where all the cars and all the trucks are going, and the difficulties with deficient bridges. And what's an interesting thing that I continue to hear about is that these mapping programs that everybody depends on their phone are not updating and steering people away from there. And they continue to drive the public right through our closed sections of road. And that is completely beyond our control. But again, I think between Andrew, Eric, and his crews, they're doing what they can to try and work with dust control and the safety requirements of all those cars and vehicles every day. That's it for me.
Commissioner Dahl?
June 2nd? June 2nd, did the road tour with the rest of you. Did run up to Lionel Lakes on June 4th and looked at the juvenile detention center. And I just got a quick glance. I was talking to Will about this. I got a quick glance because I was trying to figure out how they knew how they let me in, because I'm like, how do you know me? You don't know me, you know. And they let me into the first security, and then they were sitting there looking at my badge and qualifications and then they let me into the second tier, and I'm noticing their screen, and I'm going, that's what Will's talking about. They're pushing the intercom button and the camera's coming on a screen. So they got a full view of that person on that intercom system, not just several, mini little shots. This was pretty good size. I was like, that's impressive. So, and I did get to go up to the meeting with Paul at the fairgrounds. the thing that struck me was we're into 3 different counties up there with 3 different individuals. They're shifting around. They're all very knowledgeable in the subject matter. And I've read through the reports and the extensive, they were very well done. There was no questions needed to be asked when I got done reading their reports. I thought they did a really good job of covering everything. I also went to the employee recognition at the fairgrounds on June 11th. Yeah, and I also attended the Acoma and Hutchinson Township meeting because I believe I should meet with them just to get, if there's any issues, just to get hands-on right out of the horse's mouth. And then I did attend the AMC District 7 meeting down in New Ulm with Nathan. Appreciate the ride down and the introductions and stuff to people. So, and I did come away with a couple of takeaways on that too, and I did share that in a written report that I presented. So, but I would like to say I'd like to relinquish any excess time that I have to Lori Shotcut, Commissioner, because I want more details on the milking of the cow.
I'll keep that as note as we move around, but it just came, being it came up, the extension, and I'm glad you brought it up, but it has worked out. Commissioner Wright could probably give us a couple more details. We had to do that by force. I mean, to get that budget to work, to go to 3 counties. And I think Paul has contributed to making that, his involvement with that has made it work to make to help us in McLeod County to make it work as well as it has. I mean, that wasn't an efficiency, that was by force. We didn't have people, and that joint powers, I'll call it, has worked out real well. Better than some, I can.
Right, so a person walking into knowing nothing and looking at all the details and the stuff that they covered, you sit back and you go, wow, this was impressive. And you know me well enough, Paul, it's tough to impress me with details and stuff, and they did it. And I was like, boy, they're good.
The reason I extend it to is and I've learned that in my years here as being involved here, that information is available to the public.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they do, and I'm a little disappointed. Sometimes it's always hard to find good dates, but I'm a little disappointed, even in myself, to make it to some of these informational meetings that they have, because they're very valuable.
So if you need an alternate, let me know.
Oh, no problem. Commissioner Schmalz.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner Dahl, for your report. And being that I have a high interest in dairy farming and how cows get milked, I'll try and be as brief as I possibly can.
Well, it's his birthday, by the way, so we're open to all that. So.
Okay, Tuesday.
We got a couple minutes, so.
Tuesday, June 2nd, we all participated in the highway tour after our last board meeting. Wednesday the 3rd, I had a chat meeting. We're doing chat meetings every other month, and that's Community Health Assessment Team as it relates to our CHB. Thursday, Prime West Joint Powers Board meeting in Alexandria. And I'll just look at my notes and I'll briefly say, we were given a detailed report from our lobbyist who works for Prime West down in the Capitol during this past legislative session, and his summary on a few things that are very important to Prime West and our member counties when it came to CARMA and county-based purchasing. He felt that we secured a win with the legislation that took place this past session. One caveat, there was what they called a pharmacy benefit management. He considered that a win because any decision related to that was delayed by a year. Non-emergency medical transportation came up at the legislature, and he considered that a win as well because that decision was delayed. Number 4, he mentioned the governor's budget proposal, basically DOA, dead on arrival, which I guess we consider that a win. And then number 5, the HHS IT modernization legislation that was passed, we consider that a win, desperately needed. It's at the top of everyone's list when we enter discussions about, what we need to make social services and health and human services work in our state. I took a call on PED crossing in Winsted, relayed that message to our Public Works Director, and a response was given on how that looks for a PED crossing on County Road 1. On Monday the 8th, I did an AMC Lunch and Learn, and it pertained to audits, why we do audits, how audits are conducted. It's a 1-hour Zoom meeting. It took away some valuable information from that. On the 10th, Pact for Families had a full collaborative meeting along with an LAC meeting, and I participated by Zoom on that. Thursday the 11th, I attended the employee recognition at the fairgrounds. As Commissioner Dahl stated, on Friday the 12th, Commissioner Dahl and I attended the District 7 AMC meeting in New Ulm. I think, we represented McLeod County well at that meeting. All member counties were represented as well. And again, a lot of it was review of legislation and the potential effects of, the cost shifts, which will result from SNAP, is kind of the major concern right now. And then the act is also being discussed as well on what effect that potentially can have for McLeod County. And that brings me to today, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Smalls, our milking queen. How are
The milking queen. My mother would
Well,
be
I'm
proud of
excited to
that
hear.
title, I think.
you had a number, it's funny, but there was a number of people in our county that were very excited about you
Oh,
participating in that, so thank you.
No, it was my honor. I'll start off with that. So Friday the 5th, I attended the Dairy Day in Hutch as a celebrity milker. I'm not sure where the celebrity part, but Representative Don Gilman took the title for our division, and then she ended up losing to Hannah Visser in the champion, in the milk off. But it was very daunting. I walked up there and I'm like, gosh, those cows are so big. I wanted to milk the little guy that was laying on the ground next to his mother, because I thought that would be a lot, those things were huge. But no, I really enjoyed that. And so I think Valerie over at the Hutch Chamber. At the Hutch Chamber, I said, I'm getting to the point with her, and she knows it because she commented, but she goes, you just hate it when you see my number pop up on your phone, don't you? I said, oh, it's like, wow. After that last workshop that we had on June 2nd, I wanted to thank Andrew and his group again. I thought that was really good. The entertainment on the bus ride, the everything else, it was good. And I like to show my husband things as we're driving around the county, and one of them was the gravel pit for the 18 project. And we were coming back home this weekend from Hutch, and I said, hey, look, that's that gravel pit. And he goes, oh my gosh, it's empty. And I said, yeah, it was a quick project. They were in and out of there, and so it was kind of cool to drive up in there too and see them work. And so that was very good. I enjoyed that. Thursday the 4th, I also attended via Zoom the Prime West, and again, it's staggering what Prime West does, and I've never heard of it until I started working here, and now I hear it quite a bit of residents that have Prime West, and so that's a very, very beneficial group for our county residents. Then last Thursday, I also attended the employee recognition, and I thought Hannah and her group did a great job. It's always so much fun, and it's fun to see the employees that get to show up for that and their families. Like, I actually got to see Andrew's kids that he talks about, and like Hannah's little girl, she's adorable. I love all the little curls, so it's fun to see the employees and then to kind of put faces with the families that you hear that we all have. And just lots of calls and people contacting me and walking down the street or whatever about the roundabout project. I think we're slowly getting used to things. There's always going to be those little issues that people are always unhappy about, but we're trying to alleviate them. My phone calls to anybody that will listen on some issues have gone, by the wayside because I think people are finally figuring it out. So, but that would be it.
Thank you, Commissioner Cheska. If you weren't a celebrity before, you will be shortly.
Yeah, you're getting there.
And it's kind of,
Well, I hope there's no pictures that will ever show up from this because
it's kind of,
Yeah, somebody's got them.
it's kind of good that one of the princesses won. They had you beat in probably different times of milking a cow, so it's kind of ironic, but Attorney's Office. All right, real quickly, I'm not gonna, most of mine were covered. I did do a drainage work group on the 11th. It's our first one of the year. It was, probably not one of the more important ones, just setting strategy for getting some work done before the next legislative session. And I, also, worked on our mediation on the 12th. Our administrator covered part of that, or it's in addition to her report, so we got some settlement there. Commissioner Wright and myself met with Andrew, probably the most important for me this week, as far as commissioner work is concerned, to see where we are on our 5, 10, and 20-year plans. I quite honestly just worry about the 5-year plans because we have so much funding to take care of, and things get switched around, so I don't like to make promises that I can't keep. But Andrew went through a number of things, and I think we're on a schedule that I hope we can hold to, and that I'm satisfied with that. And then I took a few days, I had a couple days, we had Glencoe Silver Lake in the state baseball AA championship. They made it to state and came up a little short yesterday on that game, but they're a good bunch of kids, and I got to remember their kids. And they did a really good job of representing McLeod County and Glencoe Silver Lake. So with that, I'll turn it over to our administrator.
Attorney,
Do you have nothing?
did Ryan have any notes?
No.
Anything? Okay, thank you. I just want to wish a happy birthday to our Commissioner Nathan Schmalz. I'm sure it's really thrilling to spend it at a 5-hour meeting on a nice evening like this, but
Thank you.
We appreciate
Thank you,
being
everyone.
here. And I just want to note that I might be a washed-up B-list celebrity, but I did the celebrity milking too, and this is years ago. And Commissioner Wright's niece beat me really bad. And my son thought it would be cool to bring all his friends to watch, and I was afraid the whole time a cow was going to kick me. So that is really harder than it looks. But Lori, I feel for you.
Is there
Because
photos?
Yes, and I guarantee there's photos of her. I was scared the whole time. I thought I'd be fine with it, and I was kind of scared. I think Commissioner Wright was there. I know his daughter was. Anyways, we'll move on to the last couple of items so that we can get on to the tax hearing. And item A is very important, and that's, where did he go? He is taking video. Shoot, I thought he would come out because he did come out to present his agenda item, but I want to recognize Matt Troska. He's our Director of Information Technology.
Can somebody run?
Yeah. I'm going to move on to the next one. Item B, consider approving the 2026-2027 Minnesota Public
There he
Employees.
pops out.
Okay.
You thought you could hide, but that didn't work.
I'll go back to item A. Should we do that? Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming out. I know it's probably a little uncomfortable to be recognized. I already embarrassed him downtown Hutch the day after he got it, so. Do it again? Sure. Thank you. So item A, recognizing Matt Troska, our Information Technology Director, recently honored for outstanding technical service by the Minnesota Counties Computer Cooperative. Definitely well-deserved award, Matt. You work harder than anyone that I know, and everyone appreciates you, not just here, but in your associations. I can't leave the county without hearing about Matt, and I've gotten the chance to go to a couple of things with him where I get to hear him talked about right in front of his face in a good way. So thank you for all you do. You definitely deserve the recognition. We'll give you a round of applause. And did you bring your plaque so we can take your picture with?
Yes, I have it. I'll have to grab it quick.
Thank you. When you have
Thank
time,
you.
we'd get your picture at the board then maybe in between meetings, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Matt. I'm lucky enough to have been around while you grew, and you've done a great job of expanding your knowledge, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to say he's like the top 3 on my speed dial.
Yeah.
Because I usually have
Fix this.
something locked out
Yeah.
or so. I appreciate all your help, and you're very patient too, so that makes me feel good too.
You're lucky, Lori, because I had to trap his number when he called me, so I
Matt's a great example of somebody who grew up in the community. He grew up in Glencoe, went to elementary school through high school here. You went to college in Hutchinson. You've grown with the county through your role. How many years are you at now? 21?
24 and a half.
So,
Geez, would you start when you were 11 or what?
Not quite.
Congratulations, Matt.
We can't have fun, we can't have anything.
Yeah.
and growing to the highest rating role in information technology is a big deal.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really don't claim to know a whole lot about what you do in the background, but I know everybody depends on you, and I think it's just great that you're able to join the long list of names of McLeod County department heads and managers that have been recognized by their state associations for their excellence. We've got quite a list, and it's nice to see you on there, so thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
And thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming out of doing video for us. All right, on to item, consider approving the 2026-2027 Minnesota Public Employees Association Public Works Unit Collective Bargaining Agreement. That would be 7 of the 9 contracts. If you approve item B, that would be approved for our unions.
Wishes of the board.
Move approval, Mr. Chair.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Smalls. Is there a second? I'll second it. Being I was on the bargaining committee, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, July 7, 2026 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota. And then remembering that we had added at the beginning of the meeting, agenda item number 12D, and that would be consider approving the 2026-2027 Law Enforcement Labor Services Incorporated, which is LELS, local number 329 non-licensed sergeants collective bargaining agreement, bringing us to 8 out of our 9 union contracts approved for that time period. Asking for your approval.
Looking for a motion to approve D. I will make that motion, being I attended.
And seconded by me.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls, who is also on the committee. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank all of us that have been involved in the process, and not just those of us on the Union Negotiations Committee, but the professionalism that was shown by our union stewards and our union reps as well. So congratulations and thanks for the leadership that staff exhibits along with the unions.
Ditto. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I just also want to recognize that our auditor treasurer Connie Hertzweg is about to embark on her last meeting with McLeod County, and so we will miss you. And it's not the end yet; you still have us for a half a month, but because of how the meeting dates ran, this will be her last meeting with up here at the board and her planned retirement. So you will be missed.
Thank you for mentioning. Open forum. Anyone here wishing to address the board? Seeing none. Oh,
I believe you're.
are you here for the Board of Adjustments?
You're
Yes,
okay.
no, you're good.
It's better to ask than to miss it. So you're
Yep.
good.
No, the Board of Adjustments will be right after this meeting, so sorry we're running a few minutes late. Press relations, anything from the press? Absolutely. All right, so I'm looking for a motion to recess till our next county board meeting at 9 a.m. Tuesday, July 7th, 2026 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North here in Glencoe.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Dahl. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Chatska. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.